Manor. Manor Post delivers exclusives to your email inbox every Saturday morning. One post per week could include important news updates, the latest developments on productions, exclusive discounts, previews of upcoming releases, and so much more. Plus, every single post will come with the macabre menu, a schedule of Manor Entertainment's programming for the upcoming week. Go to manorhq.com and fill out the subscription form on the homepage. Join the rapid growing list of subscribers by adding your name at manorhq.com.
Follow Manor online and on social media. You can find Manor on Twitter at Official Manor, on Instagram at Manor Entertainment, on YouTube at Manor Entertainment, and on the official website address, manorhq.com. As always, share with others and spread the word.
Warning. The following program may contain violence, explicit language, sexual situations, and dark content, unsuitable for some listeners. It is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
Presented in cinematic audio.
Eight bells, the yonker rang bright and true that sunny morn, for 'twas the afternoon watch. Bosun Jim sounded pipe down on his whistle, sending those topside to their rest betwixt decks, and calling us below to come topside. 'Twas old Carlyle, the ship's carpenter, who was first topside. He let out a great yell, and by the time I made it topside, all I saw was every man's back. "Aside," I says, parting the wall of men asunder, till I beheld the commotion. Carlyle, with his great big arms, had Bosun Jim by the shoulders, and durst not let him go. Any man who tried to pull Carlyle off of him caught the back of his hand. "Let him go, Carlyle."
"Nay, Master Scrim, it's not what you think."
"I won't ask again." But Carlyle picks old Jim off his feet, like he's fixing to throw him overboard. And that's when I took my cudgel to the back of his head. Sure enough, he drops Bosun Jim and hits the deck.
"What is this, Master Scrim?"
says Captain Dale, coming up from behind like. Carlyle attacked Bosun Jim.
I won't suffer fighting on my ship. What was it over this time?
I'm fixing to find that out, Captain.
Very well. Make your inquiry and let me know what you discover.
Aye, Captain. What do ye want I should do with Carlyle?
Your quartermaster. I don't have to tell you your job.
The men waited on my word. Put him in shackles and take him betwixt decks. And fetch me when he comes to. Whilst they dragged him off and every man goes about his business, I took to questioning Bosun Jim. What was that all about? He ignored me, so I repeated my words. He just looks at me, then turns his head. I took that to mean he was in no mood to discuss what happened. Whilst that would not suffice for a proper trial, he had work to do, so I let him be, for the time, and tried my luck with the yonker, a lad named Willem. What did you see, lad? And don't hide a thing, for I'll know if ye do. Ye have to speak to the yonkers like so.
Not a thing, I swear, Master Scrim. I had me back turned the whole time I sounded the watch. Got no wish to look a man in the eye lest I'm speaking with him as we do now.
I could see he told the truth. You did good, lad. Now back to work. The only soul left to question was the man who committed the act, so as I made my way betwixt decks to see if Carlyle had come to. I found him there, laying all still, his ankles in fetters, his wrists as well. Steward Tom had been watching him the while. Fetch some water.
It's about green, Master Scrim.
I don't mean to drink it. So he poured a tankard of sour water and gives it to me. I emptied the tankard over Carlyle's face. He twitched a bit, spit it out, then he comes to.
Master Scrim! Master Scrim! You have to believe, I saw it with mine own eyes. The sea monster! It came up port side just when Bosun Jim sounded pipe down. The monster shook him till he dropped that whistle, then throws him straight overboard.
Then why is Jim standing there, eyeing our every move?
'Twas his whistle it wanted.
Why would it want a whistle, man?
The same reason a fish wants a hook. How should I know? I'm a man, not a fish. But that Bosun, Master Scrim. That Bosun.
I've heard enough, man. Give him a quart of your strongest drink.
But Master Scrim...
Do it now. We can't have him scaring the men. Steward Tom hated to waste the ration, but it was the only way to silence the madman. Had to force him to drink it, for he wouldn't shut up about the monster or the whistle. He was out cold soon enough, though. If he goes on like that when he comes to, shove another quart down his gullet.
Aye, Master Scrim. What if he speaks the truth?
Concerning?
She-monsters.
'Twas merely his poor excuse for half-killing Jim.
Bosun Jim must have been in a particularly good way with the Lord, for he turned the other cheek. He chose not to return evil for evil. Can't say I would have done the same.
Well, I certainly didn't. And I'll give him more of the same if he steps out of line again.
What do you want I should do if he doesn't fight?
Undo his shackles and let him go.
Aye, Master Scrim.
I returned topside. Every man was busy with his task, as if nothing had happened. That's how you run a ship. You can't stop working any more than you can drop anchor in the middle of the sea just 'cause there's a commotion. I gave Jim a look-see. He was quiet as a church mouse. Still, I had orders to discover the matter concerning he and Carlyle's contention. Bosun Jim, a moment if you don't mind. Bosun Jim, the captain would like to know why you and Carlyle had words this morning. The man doesn't even look at me. Not a blink, not a sigh, nothing. With him holding his peace like he did, I had no choice but to return to my business. Albeit, for the remainder of the watch, I did observe his queer silence. The man didn't move an inch. Perchance he suffered from sunstroke. Or perchance he did see the monster Carlyle spake of. Now that would make a saint out of a sinner. Shut a man's mouth like Job before the Lord. Four bells rang. 'Twas an emptiness, a hollowness to their sound. 'Twas also the first dog watch. Half of us ceased from our labor as we awaited Bosun Jim's call for supper. But no call came. Those still to work paid no mind, but us ready to be relieved, not a little an-hungered, cast our impatient eyes at him, then Captain Dale. When the captain was privy to our plight, he meant to remedy the situation.
Bosun, call for supper. Bosun? Have you forgotten your task?
Says Captain Dale, some kind of furious, for he took Bosun Jim by the collar and shook him half silly. Then a queer thing happened. Jim's jaw dropped wide open, and a deep sound comes forth, like a mooring line pulled tight. It went on and on, unceasing, like his lungs needed nary a breath. His hand grew long, and suckers popped out of his fingers and palm, and wrapped right around the horrified captain's throat. A Portuguese by the name of Sebastian, a whaler, took one of his spears and ran it through Jim's side. That monstrous tentacle let right go of the captain. Then Sebastian rendered a second blow, at which Jim dropped his whistle. The metal pipe rolled along the deck, aglow in the sun. Then Bosun Jim's form changed, clothes and all. I saw his jerkin, shirt, and breeches become as the flesh of an octopus. I knew it was such, for it had 8 tentacles. It stood on half of them, as a man does his legs. The crew circled it and backed it against the port side rail. It lashed at them with its suckered whips, drawing great whelps of blood anywhere it struck. One poor soul's cheek was filleted to the bone. Not shrinking back, the men ran upon the beast and heaved it over, but it laid hold of the rail and stanchions before it could reach the water. Stirred by the great commotion, the hired mercenaries betwixt decks came up from their rest, with Callum the Scot leading the charge. In an instant, 6 swords were drawn and ready to run the monster through. With a blinding flash of sun, Callum struck his sword at a tentacle, cutting it in twain where it clung to the rail. The severed thing fell to the deck beside the bosun's whistle. The limb twitched most unnaturally as it changed form, from tentacle to a man's hand, and back to tentacle again. All the while reaching for that damned silver pipe. It was then I lost sight of what happened, for the crowd ebbed and flowed like the sea itself, charging, retreating to and fro. I spun around to see above the crowd, and was certain I saw tentacles creeping over starboard. Had the creature moved so swiftly? A great yell pierced the noise from behind me. I spun around to see one of Callum's band taken by the throat in one of those tentacles, about to go overboard. Another tentacle grabbed his right arm and shook it till his sword fell loose. I heard the clank of it as it hit the deck. Again the crowd moved about me and spun me around, so's that I lost sight of the monster and man. When the crowd broke again, I saw Callum strike at another tentacle, but it let loose the port side rail. The suckered arm shot right for me. I leaped half out of my skin to avoid it, when I saw what it was reaching for at my feet lay the bosun's whistle. It laid claim to its prize, then the creature dropped, whistle and all, into the sea. With a great splash, the thing vanished from our sight into the depths, where that morn it surely dragged Jim to his death as Carlyle said. With all the madness at bay, and every soul counted for, we settled back into our work. Though we were a mite disturbed by that we witnessed, each soul played the man and did his task. There was little talk the rest of the watch, and when it ended, a dread silence settled in the absence of the bosun's call. The Yonker rang 4 bells, the second dog watch, and on my honor, I swear they were church bells for a funeral. It could not have sounded more so than if we stood on hallowed ground at the cemetery gate. Looking up from the weather deck, the captain's binnacle looked like a church steeple against the gray sky. It gave me a wicked fright. We retired betwixt decks for our meats, and upon my request, Captain Dale let the spirits flow freely. After such an ordeal, it seemed only fitting to let each man drink as much as he will. And drank we did, from the finest tankards, brass and silver, and ate from likewise plates, verily fit for gentlemen. The whole galley was aglow with nothing but candlelight and gleaming metal, and filled to the rafter with all manner of merrymaking. Even old Carlyle, when he came to, and we made peace, gave in to our celebration. Every man seemed himself, and the evil we saw forgotten. Even if, for but a time, every man that is, save one of Callum's band. He it was I could have sworn I saw in the monster's grip, yet there he sit in the flesh. I watched him sitting in that corner, not taking part in the evening's mirth, quite enamored with his sword, which he dare not sheath. He just kept turning it back and forth, watching the candlelight bounce off the blade, the same light that sparkled from each man's metal dish. My eyes were heavy. I needed to sleep.
You've been listening to Manor House, Episode 20, The Bosun's Whistle, presented in cinematic audio. Subscribe to this show and leave a rating, a review, and general feedback wherever you're receiving this program. Share with others on social media and at home. Your feedback, as well as sharing with others, helps grow and continue future productions. Credits. This episode was originally recorded and produced in 2015. Performances by Rock Capuano as Master Scrim, Christopher Ford as Carlyle, Aiko as Stuart Tom. Story by A.P. Sessler. Directed, produced, edited, and scripted by Rock Capuano. Music, audio, and sound design provided by Edel SFX. Theme song by Alan Postscript, based on The Shining by the Angelas. Cover art by Chris Garrett. Manor House was created by Rock Capuano. Manor House is a Manor Entertainment production. The story, all names, characters, and incidents portrayed in this production are fictitious. No identification with actual persons, living or deceased, places, buildings, and products is intended or should be inferred. This production is property of Manor Entertainment, LLC. No portion of this production may be reproduced or used by any means without the proper written consent of Manor Entertainment, LLC. This production is protected under the copyright laws of the United States and other countries throughout the world. Country of first publication, United States of America. Any unauthorized exhibition, distribution, or copying of this production, or any part thereof, may result in civil liability and criminal prosecution. Copyright 2019, Manor Entertainment, LLC. Manor.